All right, all right. What is up? It is Cowboy. It is 8:30 AM EST. Welcome to the show. Had a really good conversation over on X Spaces, and just seeing a lot of the love out there. So let's get into the markets here. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. We had the CPI just come out. That's the Consumer Price Index, and this is a measure of inflation in the United States. Okay, and basically what they're doing is this is done by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and there are questions as to whether or not it is accurate. In a certain way, it matters, and in a certain way, it does not. The market is going to react as if the data that we are given is real. Okay. So, right now, if I were to refresh this screen on forexfactor.com, we're going to see what the CPI says. It came out actually a little bit hot, okay, which is not what I thought. I thought it would come out cool or as expected. And of course, I don't trade these kind of things. I wait until the data comes out. So it did not affect me that my prediction was incorrect. And this is why I don't trade these things, because they're very hard to predict. Now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics uses their own calculation, and they don't really tell anybody what it is. It is a kind of a secret. And like I said before, a lot of this stuff comes out and then it is revamped. It's recalibrated, meaning that they I can't think of the word right now, but they change the numbers after the fact. And that just kind of makes me think like, oh well, do these people not put the data out before they even know what it is? Is it like, are they just kind of throwing some numbers out there even though they don't have all the data, or do they make mistakes like, half the time? And it just, kind of doesn't surprise me because we're talking about government statistics, and we're not going to get too far into that. You can watch yesterday's video if you want my real opinion on such things, which has to do with Bitcoin possibly doubling within 17 days from now. And that's a cool video. No, I don't think that's going to do that. And it was just because Pomp got on the news. Pompliano got on the news, and he was just saying that 3 out of 4 of the halvings, Bitcoin did double within 18 days of all-time high, right around the halving. And now he's not saying it's going to happen again, but he was just saying there's a lot of upside. So watch that video. It's on YouTube or Rumble or X or anywhere else. It's all, right there on the timeline. So the point here, though, is that you have this core CPI year over year, and the core CPI month over month a little higher than expected. The regular CPI is as expected. So the difference between core and regular is that core excludes food and energy. Okay, now those are some pretty major damn things to exclude. But if you do include food and energy, it actually is as expected. And those are month over month numbers. Year over year, it's a little bit higher. So let's see how it has affected the markets. I'm going to go straight to Forex on this one, and then we're going to jump over to Bitcoin. Don't let this crazy screen scare you. We're going to simplify the screen and clean it up. Okay, so that's just a lot of data that I use in my calculations. Now, it does appear that the dollar has gotten a little bit stronger. Okay, you can see that on the euro versus the dollar, the euro has gotten weaker, and that is as a function of the dollar getting stronger. So I'm going to drop down to the 5-minute chart, and you're going to see why I do not trade these news events. Now, I'm not saying that they're not tradable. I'm just saying I do not trade them. I know people who actually make a lot of money trading news events, and there's a couple of ways to do that. It's just not my style. There are plenty of opportunities outside of these news events to make money trading markets. And we're going to jump over to Bitcoin next. But you can see here that this is a wild wick that just happened as that announcement data came out. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump to even the 1-minute time frame so we can see how price behaves, so we can understand how market makers literally use these events to stop people out. Now, this news came out, and the CPI is pretty much higher than normal. And you see the euro go down against the dollar. Really what's going on is the dollar is going up against the euro, right? And then it pops back up. And what has happened here is it's knocking people out of their trades. That's what generally is going on here. So people went short, they panic short, right? So the news comes out, they pop in a short right here, and then, price might be going in their direction, but this is not a whole lot of pips here. This is a very low time frame. Like a short for most people would look something like this. A lot of room to target. And, maybe they don't get in until, say, like right about here, and they panic into their short, and then they get knocked out of their short right here, right? And, oh, well, then we got to go long, right? So then they go long, And as they go along, they get knocked out of their long. And so basically, people go back and forth, getting knocked out of their trades and just losing money. And all the while, the market makers are laughing all the way to the bank. So, this is why I personally wait until the news has digested this kind of information before I trade. We got Mab Vet in the house, who is one of our members. Look, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about Algo Factory and what we do. If you want to know about what we do, I'm going to throw a QR code in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and you can just zap that and come over to our website. We help people learn how to trade. We help people build trading algorithms. That's how we roll, and we do it in a way where it's like it can be if you want it to be the old-fashioned way. Like you don't have to have it programmed. You don't have to know how to code, anything like that. When I say algorithm, I just mean a trading method. And it's pretty easy to do. It takes work, but again, we'll get into that towards the end of the stream. Let's jump over to Bitcoin, and I know that's the big, that's what everybody wants to see. So let's see here. Oh, we got Miko in the house. V the Gorilla, my business partner, is I think he's on the phone with Asia right now. So what V does is he's an excellent actually pretty good at technical analysis as well, but he just has his fingers in a lot of big pies. He helps people do very large Bitcoin deals around the world. And so because of that, he gets a lot of information from on high as to what people around the world are thinking. Like, okay, they're going to buy or sell Bitcoin. Where's the price going to be in a week? Whatever that is. When you have that kind of money, you can afford to pay some people a lot of money to figure those things out. So here it is, Bitcoin. Let me go to the 1 minute chart on Bitcoin just to see how the news affected it. The Forex markets are always going to see like the heaviest effect of these news events, right? But Bitcoin is going to see it because, see here. So here it is 6:30. Bitcoin actually went up. So this is a little counterintuitive. You would have thought that high inflation is dollar down. And the reason I say that is because the Fed last year was hiking rates and the year before to try to tame inflation. So if inflation were tame, then that would be an indication that cuts are coming, interest rate cuts are coming. And if interest rate cuts are coming, that means the dollar is going to get weak. And that means that assets are going to grow because when the dollar gets weak, assets grow. Everything is traded against the dollar. Look at this: BTC, USD, Bitcoin against the dollar. Any stock that you see technically is traded against the dollar. I mean, that just doesn't say that, but that's how it is. You're trading dollars for stocks. So in this case, though, it looks as if Bitcoin was just waiting for this data to come out and more money was ready to enter the market. And what we're learning from V the Gorilla and from a couple of other sources here is that the institutional types are simply buying Bitcoin. They're not looking for pullbacks. They're just buying and buying and buying. And part of the reason is that, first of all, there's a supply shock, right? And if you want to have a spot ETF, you have to own Bitcoin in order to run a spot ETF. You actually have to have it. If you do not have it, you cannot bring in as many people. And right now, these large companies are competing to bring people in to trade these ETFs. So this is why every time Bitcoin is heading down, you're just seeing the pullbacks get eaten up, just like that. Every time it pulls back, it just gets eaten up. And that can be possibly what we expect to see for the near future and for who knows how long. I do see Bitcoin easily going above $100,000. I think Bitcoin could go as high as 200,000. I mean, I'm not going to try to forecast, Bitcoin stop because I think that's kind of a fool's errand personally, but those are realistic numbers if you ask me. So at the moment, though, what we're seeing with Bitcoin on this 3-hour chart is a very strong look. I call this a stairway to heaven. And anytime I have seen Bitcoin do this pattern, it means more up is coming. And what you have are higher highs and higher lows. Now, there are times with other assets that this can actually spell trouble. But right now, what you're seeing is basically an upward channel. We can call this a sideways accumulation, with the exception of this large liquidity grab that I have right there. Okay, so that large liquidity grab is something that that just happens, right? There's going to be liquidity to the downside. Bitcoin needs to grab that before it can go up, and the market makers make a lot of money doing that. But aside from that, if you simply ignore that liquidity grab, you are on higher highs and higher lows, and that tends to mean that Bitcoin is going to continue upward. Tends to mean plus. If you look at that screen, and if I were to actually bring out my crazy 7-panel screen that makes people's eyes cross, you would see algorithmically that it is very bullish, very bullish. Now, don't worry, this screen you're seeing right now, like I use about half that data. It's not like I'm using all that data. I just kind of pick and choose out of that. And I've been doing this for so long, my eyes can see that without, without rolling up to the back of my head. So now, this is the free show. So I know there's a lot of people watching. They're watching on X, they're watching elsewhere. If you want to, you're welcome to simply ask questions, right? I love how there's a bunch of people on X watching right now. That's awesome. And I see people on YouTube as well. The trick with X is if you want to see a chart and you want to ask about it, it's hard for me to kind of go back and forth between my streaming tech and X. So you might have to jump to YouTube just so I can actually see your questions. That's going to be a trick for, that's something to watch out for. So let me see if I can refresh X and at least pull that up. Maybe I can pull some questions out. We got some. Looks like the Football Manager easy. Don't know what that means. All right, cool. So I got some interesting comments over at X. Gonna have to block one or two. All right, good. Well, if that's the case, if you have a chart you want to see, hey, I want to see Solana. I want to see, shitcoin ABC. Don't worry about it. I'll chart it for you. We're here to help. In the meantime, I am going to go to Solana. We have a Solana trade on. And I took this trade, as I do with many of my trades, in front of our private group. We do have a private group for our subscribed members. And let me see, where's my data? There it is. So yeah, I can tell you right now, like this trade, of course, is going to be depending on Bitcoin to go higher. Solana itself had a monster 2023 and early 2024. I called Solana to our private group last year, back when it was below $20. In fact, I think it was about $13 when I called it. And this is like verifiable on YouTube. So, a lot of people in the private group saw me say that, did their own research, got Solana under $20, and now they are sitting pretty. Their Algo Factory is paid for the foreseeable future, and that's a beautiful thing. And I do things like that. I actually called out several coins that I am purchasing as of a couple of weeks ago. So this is something I do on a regular basis. We're not a signal service, but I do share my trades, right? In this case, though, it does seem as if Solana will continue up to targets. It is now already breaking its prior high, right? So the prior high for Solana, after that liquidity grab with Bitcoin, also forced liquidity grabs with other cryptos down here to about $100. Solana popped up from that and topped out at 152, ran down, grabbed a little more liquidity, and now is already sitting right in that low 150s, but has already broken that at 154.84. So as long as this continues up, then I'll be able to eventually move my stop to entry, and my targets are up at 171.42. And that 171.42 is based on a Fibonacci extension from the first part of the year. And it's that big move up. I'll go ahead and remap that for everybody to see. I have to move over to the daily chart. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, so here is the Fibonacci extension for that move. Oh, it's already up on there. I've already done it. So you can see this move up here, this yellow line, that is the market impulse on which I place the Fibonacci extension tool. And the two targets I've got, one has already been met at 147-ish right here. I'll put a line there so y'all can see it. And then the next one is sitting at 173. So those are my targets right now. So just, some free alpha for those out there who are trading and playing around. So that's Solana. I am interested in what AVAX is doing. AVAX is also kind of strong in a similar way. It's its own ecosystem and is very, I'd say AVAX is about as popular and profitable as Solana, really, especially in the long run. Let me grab a chart. So yeah, this was I did map out. I think this was yesterday that I drew this, and this is a trade I would take on Solana. Now I would wait for this top to be broken. I don't like to go long into ceiling. I don't like to jump into the ceiling, right? I like to go on to the next floor, break this range that was built. It's not the cleanest range. I'd say if anything, the range was built a little bit lower than this. Right. So I mean, this is technically a breakout, but I don't like this top right here. I don't like longing below this top, which was at about $50. So I would want AVAX to break $50, and then I would want to move it up. And you can see that I have some Fibonacci extension targets for AVAX. I wouldn't, if I were just trading, not buying and holding, I would not go past 68.50. I would actually take profit right around there. And my trade would look something like what you're seeing right here. It's not exactly what I would do because I need the price action to occur. I need to see the breakout and possibly a pullback. But this is a possible trade on AVAX that I'm looking at doing. So again, some free alpha. When I do actually take the trade, there's a chance I will only share it with the private group. So zap the QR code if you want to see what that is when it happens. Let's take a quick look at Pepe. I know a lot of people are interested in what Pepe is doing. Vita Gorilla, my business partner who is currently on the phone with Asia, he bought a lot of Pepe. He works, like I said, on the institutional side, and he got word that Pepe was garnering at the time a lot of interest from institutional types. And this was last year when Pepe was, sitting at this kind of 66 level down in the trough. So he bought a bunch of it, and he got himself a nice, I think he got better than a times 10 in this move. He sold his Pepe. He bought into a different crypto that I was talking about. Like yesterday, I think it was, and I can't say what that crypto was. Again, private group talk, but he got himself a nice fat times 10. Now, it does appear that Pepe might be done. If it does continue up, I would be looking at target around 1200, maybe like I would front run 1200, maybe 1180, 1185. But Pepe looks a little heavy to me right now. Pepe looks heavy. So if I were to maybe try to determine where Pepe is going to go, I would treat this as one large move up, and it's anywhere from say like 500 to like 600. That's where, so maybe like a what is that going to be, 25% cut, and we'll see about it. The real question is how long will meme coins keep memeing, right? Like meme coins are hot right now. That's where a lot of people are making a lot of money. It's not my style. That's not my thing. I have no problem with people who trade meme coins, though. If you're making money, if you're profitable, if you have a system and it's got to be systematized, then you've got my respect. I'm good, not a problem. But let me go ahead and take a look at where this might go to. There is a lot of liquidity as per prior price action and volume sitting around 700, maybe like 720, 730. So Pepe could easily come down and grab this liquidity. Now, if I were to expand this look here all the way down to the beginning of that impulse, we would find a different look on the volume. Let's see. Not really. Unless Pepe goes all the way down to like 300, then it's probably just going to stop off at that 700 to 750. Somewhere in here is very likely for Pepe. But if meme coins kind of have seen their day, then the next two areas for price to be attracted to will be this one, these blocks that I'm lining out right now. Those are your areas. So again, this is all going to depend on the general market direction. And as long as Bitcoin remains bullish, it is like pretty difficult to try and, say, oh, well, it's going to go down. Because as long as Bitcoin is bullish, but not too bullish, not like total hardcore FOMO, then the altcoins should continue to do well. If Bitcoin FOMOs, if Bitcoin dominance starts to go up a little too hard, then alts can take a hit, but that hit would probably be temporary. It might reset the game as to which alts it's the money will go to, right? You might see instead of like meme coins, it might go to whatever. It might go back into ordinals like last year. It might go into ETH layer 2. These are all different like sectors where money goes inside of the crypto universe. And right now, meme coins are where it's at. So that's what I'm looking at for Pepe. We could look at, let's see if I can take a look here at, and by the way, if you have any requests, throw them up on the YouTubes. I do have X up and running. It's harder for me to see requests in X, but we'll look at Floki here. Floki. I don't know. I say Floki. Maybe it's because I'm old. Similar look to Pepe here. Your liquidity that's close by, any strong liquidity is sitting excuse me, sitting between what is this, like 13,000, 130,000, 158,000. I don't know if that's sats. No, this is dollars. So sitting at like, let me see, tens, hundreds, thousands. So 1.5, 10 thousandths of a penny, or between like 13 and 50, 1.3, 1.5. That's a good area for these come down to, but I don't see in the algos like the propensity to fall. I mean, these things are just still bullish. So I don't know that the meme coins are ready to dump. But the thing about meme coins, and I've been trading for a long time now, I've been in crypto since 2017, is when they go, they go. When the profit taking starts en masse, when people really start to take profit on the meme coins, you're going to see them get crushed almost every time. So you got, it will look like a P&D. I can almost guarantee you that. So just, be cognizant. Here's the thing. Now, I'm not telling anybody, we don't give investment advice, right? But if I were trading these meme coins and I were way ahead, like times 10, whatever it is right now, I would be like taking profit, right? I would be taking profit right now, at least on half of the money. On half the money, I would take profit. And then on the rest of it, maybe I might let it ride, or I might set stop losses, or I might continue to take profit bit by bit on the way up. That's how I'd roll. I would not let this go up times 10 without taking some money out. Gotta be disciplined. That's my thing for myself, not telling you all what to do, but because we don't give advice, but that's what I do. Let's take one look. We'll take a look at Ethereum. I know Ethereum's been on a tear, and a lot of people were concerned about Ethereum because Solana was kind of eating Ethereum's lunch. But I've got an Ethereum sort of a roof, like a structural roof sitting at 4150. Now, I did have a nice fat Ethereum long. Like we went long on Ethereum way back. I think it was in like the 2000s. So, and I had called Ethereum going up past 4,000 like several weeks ago. I think even a couple of months ago. And it has just been nothing but a tear since say February. It went from 2293 to basically 2300, and now it's up almost to 4100, and that's almost a double. It's almost a times two for a large asset like Ethereum to times two like that. That's bombing. That's a big deal, I think it's smaller, these meme coins to go times 10. Like, I mean, that's cool. It's a big deal, mind you. But it's not the same as Ethereum that has like multi-billion-dollar. I think Ethereum has like a several $100 billion market cap. So to times two within like a couple months, that's pretty damn good. Like for something that big. So, but Ethereum is on a tear, and it again, just like Bitcoin, every single pullback is getting eaten up and crushed back upwards. And I think that is at least in part a function of what Bitcoin is doing. Plus, it was taking a side seat while what do you call it? Solana and AVAX were mobbing up. So, but you can see here this formation I was talking about earlier, this kind of higher high, higher low with some thick pullbacks happening all the way up right here that I just drew that box around. This is that formation I'm talking about. I call it a stairway to heaven. And whenever you see that, there's a decent chance that it's going to head up. And one of the guys over at Because Bitcoin called it a vertical accumulation. I like that term. So you can see price, Ethereum, I mean to say not Bitcoin. Ethereum was accumulating while going up. And then, of course, now the rocket ship. So we are here at the end of the show. So let's go ahead and we're going to move over to the private lab. Look, what we do over at Algo Factory is we teach you how to build the trading method, and you want to build your own because what happens is if you want to trade, you can extract money out of the market on a regular basis, right? These little small moves, you can like just say, for example, you can risk $100 to make $200, and you can do that several times a month or several times a week. Some people do it several times a day. It depends on what your schedule looks like and your skill set. Now, in order to do that, you have to have a system. Any kind of system is going to be an algorithm, even if it's an old school, I use this indicator, I mean, like that. Those are all algos. Algorithms are not anything fancy. The term algorithm goes back to antiquity. It goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. So understand that. Like when I say algorithm, don't get scared. You don't have to, have a supercomputer and be a coding genius, right? You don't even have to code at all. And so we teach people how to build their own method, because once you have built your own method, there's a couple of things that have gone on. One, you have created something that fits your personality, right? And that's almost impossible not to do, right? If you build something, your own like personality, your own spirit is going to be imbued upon this, right? And on top of that, you will have tested this that you have built, you'll have tested it back into history. You'll have built what is called a statistical model. You will know to a statistical degree of certainty how well this is going to perform. And then you will forward test it so you have even better data. And once you do that, you can take this model, you can apply it to the market, and you can extract money. But because you have tested it, your psychology is going to be on point. And I would say, now this is my own experience, but 10 out of 10 times I have not done well trading have been because my trading psychology failed me. It wasn't anything to do with my method. It wasn't anything like that. It was my trading psychology. So come on over. We got V the Gorilla, who got off the phone with Asia, talking to the big dogs in Europe and Asia. He's now with us. V the Gorilla, sir, how are you?
Hey, good morning, all of you guys. Listen, if you haven't joined the Algo Factory, I recommend you do it. Thursday, I have I got a serious drop for Thursday.
Okay, let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, Thursday is when V the Gorilla does, like, he kind of takes over our private live lab. So we do this, and V the Gorilla is on here when he's on this free show all the time. It's just sometimes he can't break away from his international baller calls. But when he can, he comes on here. But once this is over, we go and we do a private live lab for 60 minutes. We actually do an hour's worth of show just for our private members to ask questions. And on Thursdays, we do something called Drips, where V the Gorilla will share intel. So please, V, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, every Thursday, like what Cowboy says, we share intel. I share drips. And what are drips, right? Drips are basically key pieces of insight, ideas, intelligence, data, and information that is only known on the institutional side of things. Okay, so I'm sitting down in rooms and we're having conferences and calls. We're talking to quants. We're talking to some of the best analysts money can buy, and we're all crunching data and we're all putting our brains together, and some key pieces come out. And this is the reason why, because of the group and the connections that I have, is the reason why I'm so damn accurate. Not because I'm some self-made genius and whatnot, is because I stand on the shoulders of giants. And these are the guys who not only help me out in my life and business and work, as well as my viewpoints on how things really function and operate, but these are individuals that are, again, some of the sharpest minds out there that money can buy. And when we sit there and we give these drips, folks, it is mind-blowing, the information, the data that is dumped. There are people that join us just for the Thursday drips because it is key, actionable intelligence. We're not like, I read the white papers of some globalists and all of a sudden the world's coming to an end tomorrow there. Okay, well, what do I do about the fact that the world's coming to an end? Well, not the world, really. And you dig deeper into it, it's that the Western world is coming to an end because they lost the script a long time ago. The largest transfer of wealth in human history is about to take place. Do you want to get paid? Is the question that we've been posing here at Algo Factory, and I've been posing that question for a long time, and that is the motto. The largest transfer of wealth in human history is about to take place. Do you want to get paid? Well, the markets are the way to do it, and Algo Factory is on the very forefront of it more than any other bullshit trading group out there that you can name. I don't care who you are. I'll put us up against anybody and crush them. And the reason for that, we're the only place where we not only teach you how to trade, where we teach you how to build the algorithms that trade on your behalf 24/7. And you get key actionable intelligence. You get the geopolitical, the geostrategic, and the geoeconomic all in one place. Join us. Scan the QR code. Click the link in the description box. Join us or die.
Join us or die. It's the best part of the show.
Heck yeah.
Perfect. All right, let's jump over to the private lab.
Yep.
Here we go.